Okay, I'm standing outside the shops. Actually, I'm here on the grounds, the complex here at the Huckleberry Railroad. Same spot I was last year. And here we have the storage buildings behind me. And we have the spur running up to them. And they moved the 152's tender up here, as well as the East Broad top hopper. And not much has changed with them. Still being used. The hopper is. Still gotta wait for more money to fix this thing so that 152 can run with it. 152 is in the shop right now, pretty much in the same state it was, except some more stuff has been taken off of it. So it's just the plain boiler now. Anyway, looking down here, we see that there has been some changes. We got the little work cart here. Has some small sides added to it. And it's been painted black underneath. So yeah, they must be using this to carry around tools and stuff extra. Down to the end of the flat cars here. This little 5-car train. And a new addition to the railroad, this Plymouth gas hydraulic, similar to number 11, which is down there. I think that this one also came from the military out in Wisconsin. It's one of those they had left. This is 571, it looks like. Original number of number 11 was 585, just in case you were wondering. And most of these flat cars actually came from that place too. The ammunition depot, the one out, the Badger ammunition depot out there in Wisconsin. When that closed down, all this stuff became surplus. Number 11, all the flat cars came here in 1997 and have been here ever since. So they just got this locomotive this past year. So yeah, things are really shaping up out here. And to show you, they've leveled off all this dirt down here where it used to be just a ravine beforehand. And they're looking to extend at least that track there out this way, make a nice new loading area, loading and unloading area for visiting locomotives and cars and stuff that comes here to get restored. So it'll be just like a lot of the other narrow gauge railroads around the country. Mainly the big ones like the Cumbrace and Tall-Tech and the Durango and Silverton, which have their own loading unloading track, so the big semis can come in and drop off that kind of equipment. And I didn't get footage of him earlier, but number 7, I got footage of that. 7 pushed Thomas into the barn here and put him away. So yes, Thomas is here now. He left Colorado early. I guess they didn't want him. I better be quiet, he might be able to hear me. They probably didn't want to deal with him anymore. His celebrity status gets the best of him sometimes. Anyway, so he's in here, and he's gonna have some work done before he goes out on the rails here in the next couple weeks. Maybe I'll get footage of him, come back and get footage of Thomas. So, but right now he's resting in the shed here, all locked up and cozy inside. And meanwhile, here at the Huck, we've got lots of stuff going on. This is quite a change. I'm going to try and get into the shop now while they're having their picnic there, say hello to some people, and maybe show you inside. Okay. We are inside the wood shop at the Huckleberry Railroad. Real Fans Weekend 2015, and what a change from last year. This is the Rio Grande caboose, number 0526. No lettering or numbering on it, and there's a few things that aren't quite ready yet. Otherwise, it probably would have been on display this weekend, but it is mostly complete. including the cupola. And I'm gonna come back here now, show you. Even the couplers on it, it's just not fully in place yet. There's no bottom plate holding it in, just some pieces in there. There's no airline finished yet, although the brake rigging is underneath, including the air tank, and I think the lines are underneath too. But no uncoupling levers yet. However, they did get the railings back on, the ladders. Some other changes here in the shop last couple of years. Cleaned out back here by the doors, trying to make more space. They moved a lot of the tools into the storage unit, the new storage unit that's connected to the back of the machine shop. Here's that bulletin board showing the restoration of all the different cars here at the railroad. Here's a little example of truck repair. This is car 100. Several years ago they had to use a crane to put it up. And this was the interior of car 260 before it came here. Pretty bad condition. And of course here's car number 8 before it came here. This is probably after it was pulled down off the mountain when it was used as a hunting lodge. No wheels under it. We'll get a look at that later. Here's some of the restoration pics. But yeah, they got the steps on here, and they got the windows to finish it off for the cupola. Grab onto the handholds, and you can see inside here the door. It does work, and it's not finished. I think this here is the stove that SRI donated. I'm not sure. One of our we got rid of a stove, an old potbelly stove. It looks sort of similar to the one we had, another caboose stove. We traded some parts for them. Yeah, the interior's pretty well, kind of not all the way put together, but it is sort of finished. You can see the cupola up there. Not going to be able to fit too many people in this one. It'll only be special trips or for display. So, yeah. It was, if you remember the video from earlier, a couple of years ago, where we had, it was just mainly the interior finished, and then they were building up on the outside. Now it is finally pretty much complete. So, yeah, much better. So you can compare the videos I've done in past years of this shop building and all the projects I have gone on. Here's car 113, one of the so-called tourist coaches, built up on old EBT flat car, and they originally were just made into open-air gondolas, and then 1984 they started the Christmas trips, and they didn't have enough cars, so they built the extended sides and the roofs on, so they got windows, and they had the RV heaters to them as well. And this car has had some body work done to it to spruce it up, get it all tightened up, and including the decking on it. We took that off and the steps. And over here we see the new deck plates and the finished steps all primed. They'll probably be painted black here pretty soon. Actually, they're not primed. That's just the color of the steel. It's not rusted yet. Amazing. But they looks like they've been somewhat remanufactured. These might actually be brand new steps. So they've done a pretty good job. They'll be painted black to match the rest of the frame. Not a bad deal. This is the car with the blue windows in the clear story, just in case you're wondering. A lot of the different cars on here have different colored clear story windows. Just a little random fact. Down here's the brake wheel and the staff, and the cut levers, as well as the end pieces, the end rails. So, just a little idea of what's gone on here in the wood shop in the past year. A lot of work done to that caboose, as well as regular maintenance. We're going to go into the other side now, to the locomotive shop. And now we're in cold storage. Down there is the wood shop behind that big wooden facade down there. And you can tell we're out of the air conditioning just by standing here. But here's some of the big timbers that they got. These are for the frames of the cars because, well, back in the day they used to make cars mostly out of wood. And then the steel parts were like the wheels and parts on the trucks, you know, like the bearings, couplers, that sort of thing. And the big timbers hold them together. And they pretty much do the same thing now. Have to be a little bit more safer than they used to be. Things are cut more to precision now and they get replaced on a regular basis. So that's why a lot of these timbers are the way they are. Have to go through a special sawmill to get them. So that's how it's done. Some of the other stored things here, we got some old semaphores that have been picked up. And I'm not sure, they might look to restore these in the future. As you can see, there's only one piece of glass in here for the color orientations of the positions for night usage. I also got one down here. I think they're all the same. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see actual block system used on this line. They don't use that now because they're usually only run one train at a time. Over here's the 152 again. More stuff has been taken off. The smokestack is now off. Took the cover pieces off on the for the pistons here on the steam chest, and you can, because this locomotive is so small, you can get an idea of just what kind of piece this is. This is all one piece. Well, it's two pieces riveted together to make up the steam chest assembly. You can't really tell that on the 1225 and other similar large locomotives. But yeah, looking around here, you can see this is just basically the wheels, the frame, and the boiler on here now. And he said not to get you too excited, but they're hoping after the season's over in September, they're looking at seeing where the funding goes for it. Getting it together to work on the boiler, and that's really the main part, just like it was on the 1225, to get it all done. And it's also the most expensive part. All the rest of the parts are in storage. You saw the number 7 move the cab of the engine into the storage building back there, so it's chilling in the back with Thomas, waiting for the day it can run. So you can see there where the smokestack would be. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of years here. It's probably how long it's going to take to get it going again. So 2 to 3 years, we'll see this baby probably back in its prime, and it has to be by that time. See how far it goes. If it's the complete restoration that we're hoping to see it. Especially 2020. Time runs out for 464, so it has to be done by that time. Otherwise, it'd have to get another locomotive or run the train with number 7 all the time. But I don't see them letting that happen. So you can see the different headlights on here. We got the 152s. Other miscellaneous pieces here of not just the engine, but of cars and different tools. This is an amazing place, even for the small operation that it is. And I like the signal heads out here, the crossing lights. Yeah, you can tell it's storage. Moving into the locomotive shop now. They got the picnic going on here for the volunteers. And just a little peek in here now. This is the new tool crib that's really allowed the railroad to clean things up. So this is where all the tools are going. All the small tools are at least going in here. This is a lot better than it was. So compare this again to last year's video. You can actually see how they've really cleaned it up in here. And there used to be a whole lot of crap sitting there. So we got the spiker over here. And we got the number 5 here. Bit of changes from last year. And it does run. It's just a little tough to get going. So it's not really displayed right now. It's not finished painted yet. So they wanted to make sure everything was going well. So maybe next year they add the bell to it. And we're seeing what's going on. See the engine inside here, the Caterpillar. Arr. Nice little locomotive here. You can see the cab has been painted though. Nice and yellow. See, the engineer sits on that side, opposite of what most railroads do here in the United States and really most of the world outside the British Commonwealth. See, there's a fuel tank there. I'm not sure if that's the gas one or the diesel one. I'm pretty sure the diesel one would be bigger. There's a gasoline pony motor in here to help turn over to warm things up and turn over the diesel engine on this one. This is a diesel mechanical locomotive, kind of like a truck. Not diesel electric like most locomotives that you see, as well as diesel hydraulic, which would be hydraulic drive. But yeah, a lot better even than last year. So maybe we'll see it running eventually. Here we got the air compressor on the side. Yeah, it's amazing because this thing sat out in the weeds for about 20 years, not really doing anything. So a lot better. See the windows here, still gotta replace those ones. But yeah, much has changed. We're gonna go into the machine shop now and see. Here in the machine shop, we got car 306 up on the jacks. The truck's still underneath of it, but having some work done. Real amazing to see these big jacks just lifted up. Not the size of the ones that used to be in the old Ann Arbor shop that the 1225 used to be in Owasso. We still got 2 of those, I think. They're just out in the flower garden we got by the visitor center. They got something wrong with them though, so I don't know if they'll ever be fixed again, but they are painted nice. But yeah, these ones are surplus, I think. I think they were traded with the 1203, which was the Porter Hustler locomotive, diesel locomotive that was out here for a number of years that threw a rod, and Sumter Valley, I guess, bought it and they fixed it up, and they traded it for these jacks because they had the parts for it, and they later sold it to the not Royal Gorge, but the other railroad that's out there. I'll put a caption on that. You know which railroad I'm talking about, and it still runs today. So yeah, here's the trucks. You can see the frame underneath. You get an idea of how much the car is wood. But it's in here. Mainly needs to be stabilized. They brought it in here a few years ago, and I guess they tightened it up, trying to get to stop sagging in the middle, which is what a lot of wood cars do. which is why you have the truss rods that run around the bottom to tighten it up. So you really see the brake gear under here real well. And of course the brake hangers where it comes down to into the trucks to tap the brakes on the wheels. And of course we see a lot of the same machines in here that we've seen a few years ago. Last number here's the wheel lathe. This one's a pretty big one too. Not quite the size of that one we got sitting on the flat car in Owasso, which we're trying to get money for. All those big machines that we can't fit in the shop yet. See about that. We got a lot of the same machines. A lot of these were Army surplus though. Or military surplus, excuse me. Not sure which branch of the military they all came from, so. See the rigging here that goes underneath. It's a 1881 car. Jackson and Sharp design. You see the pit. Another thing we don't have in Owasso yet. Really need one. But yeah, 1881, and car 320 is 1882. And Denver and Rio Grande Western. And several different rebuilds since then. This one actually has the gates, the closing gates on the end that can be closed. You can see he's holding them there. I think 320 has them also. The only cars on the railroad that have that. But it's not another Rio Grande thing. So we got car number 8 out here. Okay, I'm at the back of the shop now. Technically the back of the Backshops. And up there you see the storage buildings that we were at earlier. And here's number 11. And the weed sprayer car, built out of one of those flat cars. I mentioned the history on all these before. So of course you can see all the other equipment up there, including the new engine they received and all the other flat cars, the hopper car and 152's tender. Yeah, like I said, they were looking to extend this track here. I'd like to see them build a passing siding, well, something just run around siding in here. And looks like they're going to run up to the point there in the other side of the building. They had to tear down most of the security fence here up to that point. They got the newer addition here. And we got the stop gates for the extra stuff here, so just storing railroad equipment out here. So they moved all the other parts here. A little update on number 3 here. So you see the condition it's in as well as the extra boiler here. Still up in the air about what they're gonna do with this. They've cleaned up around here. You can see some of the parts. Of course, the weeds have taken off because this is all sandy soil. It's not much different than the problem we got out of SRI. Just can't get rid of the weeds. But yeah, a great thing about this out here is that taking down the fence and regrading everything, they now have a way to drive around now. The school bus that took us on the tour back here was that they actually didn't have to turn around there anymore. It actually went around the front of the shop and down the stretch here. So now if they have to, absolutely have to drive a truck down in this way, they can actually go around and not have to turn around. This here's the frame for the number 3. And I'll try and get you some more information on that in the future. Or at least put something at the bottom of the video. But yeah, man, it would need a lot of work to it if this engine were to ever run. So, probably won't ever run here. It was a good idea, in the past, but just based on how it's deteriorated, even before coming here, is probably not the best idea. But we'll see what happens. Gotta go down here now and show the other equipment thing. We got the number 7 out here, center cab, General Electric, 50 tonner. And you can tell the differences. It is a 45 tonner body, but it's been weighted down, ballasted, mainly because of these trucks here. better explanation for it. Just to add weight to it, keep it more stable. And it's got the truck mounted couplers on here and truck mounted air hoses too. Very rare. I don't know if they have this kind of a setup in standard gauge, but this is I know of a few more places that have these kinds of locomotives, and they're pretty much all narrow gauge. EBT has a 55 tonner. It's also truck mounted couplers and air hoses, and that's the best example one I know of. It's also got side wheels on it. This one does not. It's a 1952 National Steel pipe originally, I think. But yeah, this is the general purpose locomotive of the railroad, other than steam locomotives. But I like the little pinwheel they add here to the front of the headlight. Silly. Anyway, we got car 8 here, outdoors again, on display, and it's been inside most of the time, so it doesn't really see much wear because it doesn't operate. You can see just a little bit here, but 20 years sitting mainly around on these same trucks, shop trucks really, and it's in pretty good shape. Like I said, the same coupler on here. You got the speeder back there for the Friends of the Huckleberry Railroad. That's the one that's been on display in Rio Grande. I think they got another one in there. Part one. I don't know if it's completely back together again. That's 152 snowplow. Yeah, so in the future, looks like they're going to be building some trucks for this car so it can be an operational display, which was the dream all along, unless you're actually putting a museum building. But it'll probably go in the cold storage building in the back of the shop area, along with any other parts that need to be back there at all. Otherwise, it'll operate on special trains, probably just during Real Fans weekend, and the rest of the time just be a display that can be taken down to the village or moved around down here. It'll be on the right trucks and have couplers and air brake system. And again, it is the oldest car here, 1875, and nothing has really changed inside here since the last time I brought you in. Although I got the HD camera now, so you can kind of get an idea of the design on the stained glass windows, and only one of them is the original. All the others were smashed out when they got here, so they were able to make a pattern and create the new ones. There you go. And I also love the ornateness in the clear story. They even have these doors for ventilation in the winter, so it doesn't let the heat out as well. Just smoke and cinders. And that's also for people who used to smoke on the train back in the day, so that helps with the ventilation there. And I like the blinds on the windows. The only car that still has any remnants of these would be 306, which is again in the shop, but it doesn't have the blinds in it. So yeah, this is the only car that does. Well, this car does not have the luggage rack, the ornate ones like 306 has, but it is pretty plush compared to some of the other cars. It's got tougher back seats and even on the ceiling too, which is nice. Most of the other ones are wood. So yeah, again, compared to the other video, this one's much better, just because I have the HD one. We got the Kimball Manufacturing here on the floor. Built in San Francisco, where Kimball was located. You got yellow shop trucks there, and the other one's sitting off to the side. And you got the other speeder over there. And of course, 464 over here simmering away. So a lot of changes have gone on just in the past year. We'll see what happens next year as well. They promise more changes as more money becomes available for the park system and really getting stuff together here. So, lots of changes. And all for the better, pretty much. So, from Crossroads Village, it's your update for 2015.